So welcome everybody to the IEEE SMC Hackathon. And today, my name is Brent Wong, and a software developer in g.tec Medical Engineering. Today, I would like to show you all how to build the BCI games in Unity, preferably in Windows and also potentially in virtual reality if possible later. And today, we are going to use the device called the Unicorn Hybrid Black. As my colleague Leo has already given very deep introductions. And a rough idea is that the Unicorn Hybrid Black is running at 250 Hz with 4,096 times oversampling. And we're using a patent hybrid electrodes, meaning that you can go with dry and gel electrodes. And we already provide you a cap with the correct positioning at the beginning. So you just have to assemble the electrodes correctly and then just put on the cap and directly start the recording. And we have provided you also a customizable programmable software toolkit we call it the Unicorn Suite. And if you actually look at this site, I particularly linked it here. This site actually shows you all the tutorial that we have currently in g.tec. It provides you introductions to the Unicorn Suite and also how you set up the hardware. And that's what we have been showing recently about how to make the best EEG out of it using the Unicorn Hybrid Black. And we have introductions to the speller. And in case if you want to use a P300 speller for your own application, you can probably do so. And also you can, if you don't remember how to use the recorder, you can see the tutorial as well. And this is the latest release. I think you have to refer to this one. And if you are going to use the lab streaming layer, then you can also look at this tutorial and UDP, and then C API, .NET API, Python API as you wish. And then Simulink interface if you're a MATLAB HiG developer, and Bronte check for marketing neural application, and also different games. And for my part, if you want to use the Unicorn Unity package, we have also provide you a basic introductions. And here would be nice if you can check that out afterwards. And a nice video of how the game should be played. And then I can show you back the slideshow from the current slide. Yeah. So today I'm going to talk about a Unicorn Hybrid Black, a Unity SDK for building BCI applications. And it's actually one of the consumer-based products we have in g.tec. And the idea is that in a typical BCI application development, you have to go through many different steps. As a researcher or as a developer, you have to go through the data processing, finding the correct features that you would like to do for analysis, and afterwards go for like picking the correct classifier. And very often you have to go and try many times, iterated. And what we have here in g.tec is provide you a Unicorn interface, which is named SDK, which is we have the data processing, feature extractions, and classification all handled for you. So what you have to do is we have the backend for you. You just build the front end. So this is in short, yeah. It's an all-in-one BCI gaming SDK, yeah. And this BCI protocol we are using is called visually evoked potential. It provides you a very high information transfer rate, and usually you will be able to select a class or select an object in 3 to 4 seconds if you have like a perfect classifier. And you don't have to do anything. There's no task required, and the accuracy can be up to 100%. And it's a continuous BCI selections. Yeah. And so to speak for what is an evoked potential, basically when you have one single stimulation showing to user, sorry, I think I could go back. Yeah. If you only have one single stimulation showing to user visually, require the time lock visual evoked potential. If we have a continuous stimulation happening at a particular frequency, require the SSVP. If we have a pseudo randomized code, which is like 0 ones in a customized order, require the code-based visual evoked potential. Today, for your experiment or for your games, we're going to use the simplest, which is the single stimulation pattern. Yeah, and here I'm going to show you one illustration of how the game works. And this is a game that we built before in the hackathon. We call it the brain hockey. And the whole idea is that here you can see 3 different trashes in front of the users. And what we have to do is just to focus on either one of the stimulations. And the other user is actually AI. So for example, if you look at this one, after 3 seconds, the bar will move accordingly to the positions to bounce back the ball. So this is basically in this illustration the very basic AI so-called BCI games. And you can build anything out of it. And a typical procedure of BCI comes in two parts. The first part is called the training phase. In the training phase, you need to first select the amplifier that we use. For sure, you have to pick the correct serial number, and you have to go through the connection phase linking the devices. And then on the upper side, you will usually see the signal quality of your EEG data. And afterwards, when everything is green, potentially, ideally speaking, and you can start training. So the training takes around 60 seconds in general, and each flashes takes around 1 second. And here we are speeding up the video play, so it looks a bit faster, but it's actually taking 1 second per flashes ideal in practice. And you can for sure customize it, and I can show you how later on. But this is how you can record or do a training. And after the training, you get a classifier accuracy. It says that which is like perfect, okay, and bad. Yeah. And after the training, you can go through an actual application and then try to play with the enemy. Yeah. So this is basically the whole idea of like a complete BCI application from connection phase to training phase to application phase. And in case if there's a problem in training, you can for sure redo the training again and again and again to have the best accuracy. But for sure, in case if you notice that there's a signal quality issue, it's better to exit the game and try to debug and see if there's any issue. And you can actually like try to recreate the games with like additional like BCI logic, such as the Pac-Man, where here we can actually use the BCI to freeze different enemies. Like for example, this is approaching us, and if you look at this stimulation, then pop, this one is freeze, then you can walk around. So it's like a very typical game traditionally, but you can build something interesting out of it. And you can even create a fighter games, but you can use the joysticks to control the movement of the avatar, but then the A, B, X, Y key, which is the attack, escape, jump key, are controlled by BCI. So here, in this way, you can also have a very nice interactive, immersive BCI games with the help of joystick together with the BCI, providing additional power. Yeah. And for you to use Unity, you need to at least have the Unity 2022 version .3, and it's supported in Windows 11 and 10. And also, you need in the Unicorn suite, you need a license for the Unicorn Unity Hybrid Black. So if you don't have it, you can ask us in the Discord or in person right here in the seminar room, and I can show you the final precautions, like ensure there's a Unicorn, there's a Bluetooth dongle coming for each Unicorn Hybrid Black. So it's better if you can use the Bluetooth dongle that we provide instead of the internal Bluetooth dongle. Internal Bluetooth you have in the laptop. And also, if there's a data loss, it's better if you can use the Unicorn recorder to check the signal quality and see if there's a continuous data loss happening with your recording. And in case if you didn't manage to fix the issue, the last way is to move to another room. So because that's eventually the issue with Bluetooth is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it works. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how exactly the configuration works. Yeah, I have time. Yeah. So so for example, if you go to the Unicorn suite, so we have the Unicorn recorder speller in different applications. And I think my colleagues have already showed you how to actually locate different applications. But what I'm going to show you is like first you need a license for the Unicorn speller. So this one is necessary if you want to use if you want to use the Unicorn Unity SDK. You need to Unicorn Unity Hybrid Black licenses, and you can ask us if you don't have it. And then here is the Unicorn Unity package. So the way how you find it is you first navigate to the DevTools, And then here you see different interface that you can use for your Unicorn. And here we have a Unicorn Unity options. And here we have a definition of what the description of the Unicorn Unity package. And here, near here, if you have any questions about it, you can click the question mark. Then it goes to the Unicorn Unity like GitHub page. Then you can see how to get started, installations, and everything. And in case, like here's a download option, you can download it. And how you build your first real-time EEG recorder. So it's like a very basic idea of how you can interact with the Unicorn Unity SDK. But here I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. So at the beginning, we can open the Unicorn Unity interface folder. Yeah, basically. And you can just copy this path. Yeah. And then the next step would be to like go to the Unity Hub. Yeah, for sure you need to have at least 2022 versions from us, from Unity, and you just open a new project. Yeah, just pick URP or like default rendering pipeline. That's the easiest. You can also use a high definition rendering pipeline, but like for today, I'm going to use the universal rendering pipeline. And what you get is pretty much like this is what you get. So without the g.tec installation, so you have the sample scene, and then just with the camera, directional light, and the global volume. But depending on your version in Unity, you might have a little bit different components, but the whole idea is the same. And then what to do next is you first go to the access door, and you go to import package, custom package. And in here, it defaults you back to the scenario, but you have to just copy and paste the package folders hierarchy path that I have already copied before, and you just click this one and do an import. And after you do the import, you will see the g.tec folder together with the settings, the scenarios, and the resources. And what you have to do next is you just open the g.tec folder, Unicorn Unity interface, and then you go to prefabs. So prefabs is a set of game objects that we defined for you, and you can just drag and drop to use it. And the whole idea is that we go to the BCI, and in the BCI we have different model, and we can do 2D model, 3D model. You can do a visual evoked potential. You can do a motion evoked potential, meaning that instead of you see a flickering stimulation, you see a movement instead. Yeah. So here I'm going to use the very simple, the basic visual ERP 2D. Just put it in, and I save it for the moment. And you remember, I have told you, I mean, we have already discussed it at the beginning, that we have different phase, the connection phase, the training phase, and the application phase, right? And we have already managed to build the very first BCI applications. So you don't have to do anything if you just want to stop now. And the step, what we have to do is, I can show you, if you click play, then it took some time to load. Yeah. And then you can just select your serial number. So here I have a lot because this is the development laptop I have in g.tec, but this is the version of the Unicorn that I'm wearing. But at the moment, I will just show you with the Unicorn 0.000.00.00. So that's the simulator. Because in the upcoming 24 hours, you're going to work in teams, and not everybody will have the same devices with you. And if you don't have a device, but you still want to contribute, then you can use a simulator instead. And yeah. And then the next step would be to have the connections, and it is already done. And because we are using a simulator, so a simulator is just dummy data input. It's like a sinusoidal, so you don't fully expect anything which is happening in the signal quality, but you see 8 channels because we have 8 channel simulation. And here, the exclamation button is actually showing you there's a data loss in Bluetooth. And here, this one, if the light is in blue, this logo, it means that there's a Bluetooth connections. And this shows you the battery level of your devices. And then you can click start when everything is good. And I mean, in generally speaking, if you want to do BSAT applications, the longer the training it takes, the more robust the classifier it will be. But in general, it's you need at least like around 60 trials. And for sure, you can go shorter, such as 30, but you will have expect the classifier to a bit like more sensitive to noise. Yeah. So if you want to do like a simulation or just for testing, you can count the simulation up to 21 trials, then you can stop. Then in this case, it will go to the next step. I think I have more than 21 trials. I didn't count. I think so. Yeah, that's right. Then it just took a bit of time for training. And then when we get the classifier here, you see the red dot here. The red dot here means that the classifier is bad. You can, in the future, you will see yellow dot, also called orange dot, and a green dot, which is like the classifier is okay and the classifier is perfect. And I recommend everybody to start the game when the classifier is perfect, because the worse the classifier is, the longer it takes for you to select an object. Yeah. And the next step would be to continue or to retrain. And here you can see we can already do some selections by using the mouse simulation. But in reality, when you have the cap, if you look at the object in the middle, after 3 to 5 seconds, ideally speaking, you can select a classifier. And then I can also show you how you can actually create your own custom logic in it. So for example, we want ideally to do something when we have a simulation. For example, we have a cube, and in this cube, we have this, I can change the position, like say to 3. So this is up on top of the object 3, right? But object 3 is actually class 1, if I'm correct. So I can also show you later how the paradigm looks, but here, the object 1 is basically the object that is on top of the cube. Yeah. So what we have to do is go to the fresh tag, and you can just link the object to the callback, and then you can set the game object, make it active, meaning that make it available, make it like visible, or I mean, yeah, not only visible, but here I'm just showing it to you. Yeah. And then you can also create your custom script, for example. This is the script that I built very quickly before the talk. So it's just saying doing something, debug log, and doing some other things like in the console. And what we can do is, for example, I can create an empty Unity event object and add the event receiver in there. And the first object I have associated it with the enabling and disabling of the cube. Then the second object, what I will do is I will associate it with the events. And then I can just say, if I'm selecting this object, then I would do something. If I'm not selecting this object, I will do other thing. Then yeah, so I think this is better. Yeah, so this is 1, this is 2, great. So if I select object 1, which is the one in the middle, I will expect the cube to appear and then disappear. If I select the second object, then I will expect the console to console log do other things and do something. Yeah, and I can save it. It's blocking me. Yeah, okay, cool. it will still takes a bit of time to load. I mean, at the end, I will use the Unicorn to show you like the final product, but at the moment, I just want to quickly demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need around 20s. 9, 10, 11. Around this time, then I try to stop. So we have the classifier ready. Then selecting this object will have the group appearing, disappearing accordingly. And if you look at the console, do I other things all the time because I'm not selecting this object. But if I select it, then we are doing something. So this is the bare minimum that you will need to create a game. And I can show you finally how I myself is going to play the game. But there's no guarantee that it will always work. But provided that you have good conditions and surroundings and you have a good EEG data, you will be able to do it. Yeah. So for sure, now I will pick the one that I am wearing. So it should be 2019 0281. And I have 60 trials. Then I have to also set the recording. Yeah. So now I have the data already. So if I run 20, yeah, seems like my data wasn't very good now because I'm talking for a long time. Yeah, but anyway, I can continue to see. 1 minute. And I also noticed that there is a problem with the Bluetooth because I saw that the exclamation mark is popping up from time to time. But anyway, let's see how we can do it. Like, yeah, so I get a bad classifier. So, but the whole idea, I think you get the whole idea. So you have to wait for the training procedure to get a good classifier. But today I don't have it now. But anyway, the last thing I want to show you is how do you optimize for your game. So we have provided you a BCI, a visual ERP prefabs. And for you, the most important part is to go to the ERP paradigm, ERP pipeline, and you expand it. You can see the ERP paradigm. And here we have 5 objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you want to like really optimize your game, you can set this to 5. Then in this case, there will be no like a dark time, like each flashes will be sequentially. And then here, the whole idea of for me saying 1 minute training is because one stimulation is actually the on time plus the off time here is like one seconds. If you have 60 trials in training, then you have 60 seconds. If you want to make it faster, then you can say like 100 of on time and 400 of off time. Then the whole speed of the training will be 2x faster. But I'm not going to recommend it at the beginning. Once your game is going to work, then you can like reduce, optimize based on what you want. You can even set it to 30. but this is the bare minimum. You cannot do 29. This will fold your error. So you need at least 30 trials. If you have 30 trials, 100 milliseconds on time, 900 milliseconds off time, then it's still 30 seconds. But I will really recommend at the beginning to start with the default. And when you're done with the default and everything works, then you can try to optimize it as you wish. Yeah, and I think my time is, I think I have already covered everything. So I hope you like it and have a nice hackathon. Yeah.